Welcome back, guys. How's everybody? Welcome to day 3. How you guys feeling? How great was yesterday? Did you guys go home and play with the breast support tools from yesterday? Game changing, right? Who got some good reps in with their hissing and their lip chills? Celebrate yourself. Who did? Tell me in the chat. Who got some good reps in with your breast support stuff? Julia, nice. Hannah, nice. It was great. I'm so glad you feel so, Nabraja. Charita, nice. John, Justin, Natalia, good. Joel, awesome. Celebrating you guys for showing up to the tools. If you guys have any questions about it as you were practicing, bring them to the implementation Q&A on Sunday, for sure. If your questions aren't answered between now and then, which they might be. Who did their meditation today? Tell me. Who did it? Who did their meditation today? Tell me in the chat. Jill did it. Way to go, Jill. Julia, nice. Sharita, all right. Come on, who did it? And if you didn't, you know what? Tomorrow's another day. We're still only halfway done with today. Get on it, okay? It's just a choice to put your tools in the forefront of your priority, okay? Good. Anybody 3 for 3? Who's done their meditation all 3 days? Put 3 in the chat if you've done it. Let's celebrate you. Come on. Anybody 3 for 3? Jill is in it to win it. Jill's like, me, all the way through. Norma, way to go. Julia, way to go. Annie is like celebrating everyone. You guys will meet Annie in a minute. Hannah's like, I'm going to, you better girl, because you got some amazing results yesterday. So keep showing up to them. Dolores, nice. Okay, good. You guys are really, really working it. And that's what we like to see, because it works if you work it. It really, really does. So don't forget, do your meditation daily. It's the daily conditioning of the present moment awareness. That's super, super important with that. Okay, so keep doing it each day this week. We have a lot to get to today. So just a little reminder of our housekeeping. Save your questions. We're going to train first, and then if there's time for Q&A, we will get to them. Also, again, like I said, a whole implementation session on Sunday, so do not miss that as well. And we will, get to a lot of the questions there too. A reminder, this is the safe space. It is one of our highest values. So those who share, those who sing, we encourage bravery, vulnerability. This is the place you get to show up and make a bad sound, like I was saying to Hannah yesterday. So we have zero tolerance for any criticism, meanness, judgment in the chat. Please uphold that value. Sorry guys, I had salad before I came in. I feel like I have lettuce in my teeth. I do. Look at that. Okay, see? Even I get to be vulnerable and tell you that I have lettuce in my teeth, right? Okay, make sure if you want to coach in the meeting, if you want to volunteer, that you have your original sound enabled and switched to on in the meeting. And like I said before, I see we have Coach Annie in the house today. Woo woo! So Annie is one of the expert technique coaches who works alongside me with our singers in the intensive program and in Vocality Lab. Hey Annie, good to see ya.
Arden, thank you. Great to be here. I see so many familiar faces. Hi, Warren, Lelisa, Andre, Harvey, Amy, Diane, and so good to see all the new faces here too. I'm very excited for you.
Yeah, so Annie's gonna bring some of her mojo into the session today as we talk about energetic sound direction and some of the things of what that means and how we implement it. So yeah, let's get to work, guys. Okay, so here's what I've noticed over 25 years of saving singers' voices, saving singers' careers, being a professional singer myself. What I've noticed is that most of you are putting yourselves out there for auditions, performances, recordings, opportunities, and you're making an innocent mistake. You don't realize that the rocket fuel to actually stand out from the competition at the level that you need to consistently do that and deliver that when it counts, no matter what, which also affects your confidence, is lacking. And this lack of this rocket fuel, it is why you're not breaking through yet being the operative word here, okay? So What that rocket fuel is, that ammunition, it begins and ends with one idea. And that's this concept of energetic sound direction. Energetic sound direction. So what that means is the way that we direct our energy to get the maximum power, efficiency, and impact out of our instrument. And so how we do this is by using opposition. Opposition. So yesterday, we talked about breath support and you got your anchor, okay? Your breath support that anchors your sound in the lower part of your body. Today, in this boat analogy, I am going to give you your sail because you need both. And once you have that, you're able to use energetic sound direction to your benefit in the form of opposition. So I want you guys to think of a boat. So you've got your anchor rooting down into the sand, you got your sail facing up into the wind, and whoom, that boat is not going anywhere. It is super stable. And it's the same in your body. So the energy of your support and the space and shape of your resonance need to oppose each other energetically in the very same way that an anchor and a sail on a boat oppose each other to create stability. And it's that stability that allows you to consistently tap into the maximum potential of your instrument and bring your best sound every single time. So if you are following along in your Masterclass workbook, that is concept number 1 for today. Opposition is what creates absolute stability, consistency, and power for your biggest impact. You need your anchor and you need your sail. But right now, you only have your anchor. Well, that's only half the equation, right? So today, let's talk about the sail. So we need both. And for those of you who want stronger high notes, you want to be able to mix, you want to be able to find that high belt, this idea of opposition and energetic sound direction, this is it. This is essential. So, excuse me, when we talk about the sail, what the sail refers to is the shape and the space of your resonance. So if we think about resonance, what your resonance refers to is where sound bounces around and resonates in your body, in the cavity of your body. And in our body, sound resonates in 3 places. It resonates in your head, meaning in between your skull and your brain, in your sinuses, in between the ears, right? So that's head resonance, is sound bouncing around in those cavities. We also have chest resonance, which is sound bouncing around in the chest cavity, okay? Which is why if you put your hand here below your collarbones and you're in chest voice, if you do like a yoga om, you go om, om, you can feel sound buzzing underneath your hand because that's where it's resonating. Versus if you keep your hand here and you go into head voice, and I know this may seem simple, rudimentary, whatever, but it's just, again, it's science, it's physiology, and you go, woohoo, like in your head voice, you're not gonna feel any vibration underneath your hand because that sound is bouncing around up there, okay? So sound resonates in your body in 3 places: head cavity, chest cavity, and also your buccal cavity, otherwise known as your mouth cavity inside your mouth. Now, the shape and the space of we'll call it a room, right, affects its resonance, affects its sound. If you think of a dome-shaped room like a tunnel, you're gonna get a ton of resonance. You might even get an echo. Versus if any of you have ever, sung in a super squat, low-ceiling room, it's pretty dead because that shape of that room is affecting its resonance. And so in the same way that the shape of a space affects its resonance, so it does inside our body. Now, you cannot change the shape of your sinuses and your skull, and you cannot change the shape of your chest. But you can change the shape of your buccal cavity, the inside of your mouth, by what you do with your soft palate, your tongue, and your jaw. And it is super important because the shape and the space determines the resonance. And so the major thing that affects the shape and space of our resonance is our soft palate, and that is your sail. So let's make sure you guys really are acquainted with soft palate. So you guys know where hard palate is. It's the hard that you can feel with your tongue. Your soft palate, if you keep running your tongue along the hard, you will eventually get to the soft. It's soft back there, right? And you can stretch your soft palate to give yourself a lot more room. You can depress your soft palate, which lops off the room. You can change the shape of soft palate by learning how to direct it, okay? And so for our purposes as singers, we want a big old sail, a really beautiful, stretchy, big, expansive soft palate, providing lots of space for the sound to bounce around and resonate in. But again, it's not just any space. The shape of the space also matters, I said. And so here's a little hack, a little trick that I love to teach our singers to find the most optimum shape and space of resonance in your soft palate. And so it's what we call smell the brownies. And what it is essentially is breathing into that high smiley space between your ears. So if you imagine that somebody put a plate of brownies fresh out of the oven, gooey, fudgy, hot, they smell really good, and they put them right in front of your nose, and you're like, because they smell really good. If you test this out, breathe into a smile, smell the brownies, and you will feel your soft palate stretch. Okay? It is a feeling of your ears widening away from each other. It also might feel like your top molars are riding into your brain as you breathe in. It also can feel like the top part of a yawn. So when we yawn, guys, we definitely stretch soft palate. What we also do when we yawn is we depress the larynx, which is, when we yawn, this goes down and this goes up. When we sing, we don't want to depress larynx, but we do want this stretch. Another way of feeling it is like right before you sneeze, where you're like, achoo, right? That feeling of that stretch right back there. These are just lots of different ways for you to feel the same thing. Find one that you feel and that works for you, okay? And so this idea of smelling the brownies, and you guys, I like to use a nose breath just at first because it just really helps you to put yourself into that high stretch. But you can also, you don't need to do a nose breath in order to feel it. It's just right now, if you're not used to that, it's the easiest doorway in, okay? But I can, because I've done this for years and years, I can breathe into that space between my ears widening, my molars up into my brain, my soft palate, like the Hollywood Bowl back there. You can do it on a mouth breath too. So it is not just the idea of that space, but also the shape matters. And so it's what we call that stretch is a tilt. And so when we think about the soft palate, we don't want to stretch it back. We don't want to stretch it down. It stretches like up on a diagonal that's like tilting like a trunk that opens like this. And it's like whoosh, this way. And it has to be a diagonal because a lot of singers I know feel like they are singing with the correct amount of resonant space, but it's a false sense of space because the space is the wrong shape. And so what they're doing is instead of feeling their soft palate stretching up, what they're actually doing is pushing their tongue down. And so they feel like they have a lot of space here, but it's space that's in the wrong shape, in the wrong direction. It's all down here instead of up here. Okay? So going back to the shape and the space, I'm going to show you a picture of something. I love to do this whenever we do our workshops. If you take a picture of any singer who knows what they're doing, like who really understands all this stuff, and you take a picture of them like mid-sing, they all look like this. Okay? And you think I'm kidding, but I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you this. Check it out. Okay? It doesn't matter what genre, Bruno Mars, pop singer. Anna Netrebko, opera singer. Pop singer, Beyonce. Sutton Foster, Broadway singer. Leslie Odom Jr., Broadway singer. Pavarotti. Look at them, you guys. It's that feeling. Now, the reason why you see them here is not really about what they're doing externally with their mouth, their jaw. It's about what happens inside to your soft palate when you are in this, what I call like dumb jaw, upside down triangle space, okay? And it doesn't matter where in your range you are singing. If you're in your chest voice, ah! If you're in your head voice, ah! It doesn't matter. It is all there. Watch me. Ah! Nothing changed because my soft palate, my sail, is always raised, okay? So I just get a kick out of this because I just think it's super cool. Whether they've been trained to do this, which I guarantee you, the pop singers and the Broadway singers here have been trained to do this, or whether they just naturally do it. Most of the time, pop stars tend to not be all that trained, and they just have a natural physiology and ability to lean into something that is actually very right. And to be told, Beyonce has a lot of training. Bruno Mars, I'm not so sure. But look at him. This is how he gets that sound, okay? So I'm gonna stop sharing. But I just wanted to show you guys that because I think it's pretty cool. So that is what the external physiology looks like when the internal physiology of your soft palate is nice and high and stretched. So I have a lot of different, tricks that we help our singers with to do this. One of the things that I tell them is the idea of the clueless face. So you guys remember the movie Clueless from the 90s with Alicia Silverstone? And she's like, oh my God, Cher, as if. It's like, as if. It's the same thing, okay? So you can think of it that way, like clueless, smile. You can think of it as any way you want, but that gets your ears widening, a little joy in your cheeks, a feeling of pulling your teeth up into your brain. So right now, while it's new, the easiest way of all of that to feel the stretch of the soft palate is really to use that nose breath into the smile, to smell the brownies. But then you have to keep that stretch over a duration of the phrase while you're singing and not let it fall down. So it's like you breathe in, you smell the brownies, and then you continue like you got fish hooks in there pulling you up as you do the phrase. Tell them how I'm defying. It's all, I'm just smelling the brownies and I'm pulling up on my soft palate like crazy, okay? So that's your sail. And it is always up when you sing, always. So this brings me to the next concept, which is concept number 2, if you're following along in your workbook. Always be moving your anchor, which is the lean of your apoyo, of your support. Always be moving your anchor and your sail away from each other over the course of a phrase. This is the first way that you are going to employ opposition. And here's why this matters. Because if your anchor and your sail are moving towards each other, then you get a massive amount of pressure on your larynx. You are encumbering your larynx either from above because your sail, your soft palate is dropping. And so odds are jaw is grabbing, tongue is pulling back, and everything here is moving towards your larynx, encumbering it from above. Or if your anchor is not rooted and moving away from your larynx, now, like what we talked about from the support, a conversation yesterday, all of this is pushing in, collapsing in, and pushing your diaphragm up towards your larynx. And now you also are encumbering that from below. And either happening or both happening for a lot of you, it prevents your cords from vibrating as efficiently as possible and as freely as possible. And so now you've got tension, you've got strain, you've got insecurity, okay? And so when anchor and sail are moving away from each other, freeing the larynx to vibrate as efficiently and freely as possible. So we want to move everything away from the midline. And again, the midline being from like top of heart center to right below or right above your larynx, like this center of energy and where your larynx lives. We want to be moving everything away from the midline. That opposition creates ultimate stability for the larynx to vibrate as optimally and freely for the biggest impact. And again, you guys here, everything we're going for is that result for the biggest impact. So when you saw Hannah yesterday have that massive breakthrough and make a sound that like we were all like, woo, I don't know, you heard me go, woo! It was awesome because we worked her skill set and her technique, and we worked her mindset so that everything was moving away consistently, and this was able to do what she was born to do, what her instrument was built to do. So if you have problems with reliability, consistency, confidence, accessing high notes, pitch intonation issues, problems changing registers, problems with mixing, it is because you are not opposing, and nobody has taught you how to do that. Your anchor and your sail have to be opposing each other. If they're moving towards each other, putting pressure on your larynx instead of opposing each other, you're in trouble. So they always, I can't hit this enough, need to be moving away from each other so that your larynx can vibrate as freely and efficiently up and down your range through all of your registers, okay? And by the way, those of you who have problems changing registers, it's because when you get into that moment of transition, your opposition goes like this. So you're going, E, and then when you have to go to head voice, your opposition goes, uh-oh, and it comes back together. And now you've lost your stability, you've lost your consistency, and that transition is not going to go well for you. Okay, so whether you are changing registers, whether you are changing words, whether you are changing pitch, that doesn't change. Okay, so one of the best ways to learn and practice opposition is what we call sirening. So without really understanding what we were doing, that's what I was having Hannah do yesterday when I had her do, what was the line? Wesley, right? Wes! It's Light at the Piazza. I'm conflating it with the other one that I always conflate it with. But I think it's that, right? Somebody put in the chat. What was the word that it was yesterday? Right? Was that right, Hannah? It was like, Wes, for Wes. I know, Annie, this is your Winston. Winston! Right, I don't know why I thought it was Wesley. So that's what we were doing yesterday without, you guys fully having the training on it, because I knew we were going to get it today. But as I was having her siren the words to get into her opposition. So we use sirens to practice opposing anchor and sail. So what a siren is really is just moving through pitches in a gooey, slurry way, like a siren. Woo, woo, woo! Winston-Salem! Yeah. Those are examples of siren, okay? There is no need to make it beautiful. There is no need to be micromanaging pitch and words and all that. It's literally gooey moving through pitches. And what we're doing when we do that is not needing to focus on any particular melody, but being able to move through our range with this feeling of down and up at the same time. Oh! I'm able to do that, and you have no idea where I transition from head to chest or back because my opposition was consistent. When you hear people who it seems like there's two different voices, you can really hear their chest voice sounds very different than their head voice. It's generally because there is no consistency of opposition between the two. You guys, you are in this no matter what. No matter what. It never stops. I never stop flexing through my anchor, and I never stop inflating and pulling up and forward on my sail. And so one of the things that's really important, though, is when we talk about energetic sound direction, is you need to set the most, what's the word I'm looking for? What's the opposite of something that sabotages? Something that promotes? We need to set an energetic sound direction that promotes efficiency rather than promotes sabotage. I don't know. I'm getting my words wrong today, but you get what I'm talking about. So most of you don't oppose because you're too busy moving your anchor and your sail towards each other to push the sound out of your mouth, to explode the sound. And so one of the things that can be super effective and helpful is to tell yourself to implode the siren, meaning the siren and the sound is coming in and going vroom, like this. Ah! Instead of ah! That hurt. That didn't even feel good. I don't want to do that again because I'm pushing. I'm exploding versus imploding. Okay, so the idea of implode your siren, bring your sound to you. It is not your job to get the sound out. Okay, words matter. If you think to yourself, oh, I gotta get the sound out. I gotta reach the 25th row. I gotta reach up to that high note. All those things are very much out here, pushed this way, explode, right? And so your body will do that. If that's the subconscious thinking, again, mindset matters. If that's the subconscious thinking, because those are the words that we're using without realizing it, your body is going to follow that. Because remember day one, your body is always just reacting to what your brain is telling it, consciously, subconsciously. But we can change the conscious conversation, which then changes the subconscious conversation. If you condition the conscious conversation enough, it becomes muscle memory. It becomes default thinking. So implode your siren. Bring the sound to you and tell yourself consciously to do that. Words matter. So you understand the idea of a siren. Now we're going to bridge the siren back into the Mamo Moo scale that we were doing yesterday. So Mamo Moo, guys, the same one that we were doing yesterday. Here, I'll play it. That one. Let's do it a little bit higher. For me, because I have a high one. Mamo Moo. It's just a siren. It's Mamo Moo. Mamo Moo. And here's why this is so important to understand that this is just a siren. Because as we talked about yesterday, too many of you change your support, and for our purposes today, change your opposition on every pitch. Mamo. You're pulling up on your sail and you're letting your anchor every time, and there's no stability in that. There's no continuity or reliability in that, and so your body still feels inherently unsupported. But when you siren, Mamo Moo, it's continuity. It's like single bow if you were a violin player. Most of you do this every time with your opposition and your support. And you just end up creating more insecurity and more instability, because that's, again, the things that are consistent are the things that we can now trust, right? So learn to use your siren to learn how to change pitches without changing your opposition, and then employ that in the context of Mamo Moo, because it is just a siren. I'm just sliding like gooey crazy glue in between these pitches. Now, there's a tell. If you are not in your siren, if you are not in your consistent opposition, when you do your Mamo Moo, you will have a lot of H's. Mamo, that's the opposition going, instead of sirening, connecting the dots, because most of you support this pitch, and support this pitch, and I lose you in between. And when that support and that opposition stops in between, a little puff of air leaks through. And so if we're connecting, if you can learn how to be super gooey and slur between these pitches, and you guys, I'm not gonna like force you to sing like that forever, but for now, you need to learn how to do that so you learn what it means to change pitch and change syllable without changing your opposition, okay? So first, you're going to siren, and then you're going to do Mamo Moo with a feeling of siren. So you're going to do Ma, and then Mamo Notice I'm still articulating, but I'm sliding through my opposition on all of those notes rather than stopping and starting and stopping and starting. And now that brings it home, concept number 3 for today, which I have been saying all along, but I want you to write it down, which is do not change your anchor and your sail when you change pitch. You are always opposing, no matter what. If the pitch is changing, if the direction is changing, if the words are changing, this is how you build reliability and consistency. And here's what. You cannot tap the maximum of your potential. You will not bring the most effective, authentic impact without reliability and consistency, not to mention that it affects your level of confidence. If every time you go out for something, you're not getting it because you're not in that impact. Or it's the cross your fingers and hope technique, meaning, I hope it comes out today. I hope it does. Like, that ain't vocal technique, guys. Cross your fingers and hope is not vocal technique. And yet, that's where so many of us are, no fault of our own oftentimes, just because we haven't been coached in the right way, okay? So opposition, do not change your anchor and your sail when you change pitch. Okay, so let's play with this, all right? Who has an audition song or a song that you gig with all the time that you'd like to volunteer to be a guinea pig to work on opposition? I love that Hannah's right in there, but I think here, Jill, I want to give some other people a chance, and Hannah, if we have time, I will come back to you. So let's play with Jill. Jill, go ahead, come on camera. Hey.
Okay.
Go ahead and there you are. Okay, so do you have just like a couple bars of something, a chorus of something, and let's play with some opposition.
So one of the pieces that's sort of my litmus is a lick from Elijah, Hear Ye Israel.
Okay.
Because in talking with that elusive sort of a high note thing, one of my issues that I wanted to work on in this class is longevity. So when
tell me, be more specific. Does longevity for you mean stamina, or does it mean being able to have healthy singing until you're 90? What is longevity?
No, it's vocal longevity in that moment. So if I'm singing a piece of music that has a lot going into, D, E, F, G, A area, and then by the end of the song, I have trouble even reaching the A's.
Okay.
And so
vocal fatigue is an issue.
Probably. Okay. So I can try that, and it's going to be just as elusive as it ever is, and you can fix me.
Okay. So hold up, because there's those of you who know me know that there's I gotta ping a something here. And remember how we talked about words matter, because your body's always responding to what your brain is saying. So before Jill has even sang, she has decided that it's probably not going to go well. Did you catch yourself?
Yeah, I did. Okay, so let me rephrase that.
Okay, let's do that.
All right. Now I'm going to step back because I'm wearing a snug shirt, and I want you to look at where
please do. That's a great idea.
Going with
Cool. So instead of deciding that this is going to be elusive, because that's always the way it's been, you guys, just because that's always the way something's been, doesn't mean that that's how it's going to go now. And here's why. Because you have different tools right now than you did 5 minutes ago, than you did yesterday. Okay.
Yes.
So I would love for you to approach this with a spirit of experimentation, curiosity. Like, we don't know what's going to happen. I just want you to be, like I said to Hannah yesterday, be willing to F it up, make a bad sound, and let's just feel some new connections in the body, okay?
Okay. So
and in the interest of time, let's just kind of go a little more towards the section that maybe usually
I'm not going to do the whole aria.
Okay, yeah.
So could you just give me I think a D sharp would be.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, let's see. Let me get my.
Okay. Okay, good. So this is going to be a great exercise in using sirens to really help you connect to a different level of opposition. So let's go back to the beginning of the section and tell me, what are the beginning words, the lyrics at the beginning there?
I, the Lord. I can't do it unless I'm singing it. The Lord, your God, something like that.
Well, okay, we want to know exactly what it is. Is it the Lord?
I can't do it unless I'm singing it. I'm
So
sorry.
sing the phrase for a second. Sing the phrase.
I, the Lord will. Now I'm in the middle of it.
It's okay. You can look at your music.
I don't have it. Okay, Elijah. All right, I got it. I am he that comforteth.
Okay, so I am he that comforteth.
That comforteth.
Okay, so I want you to find a sensation of opposition, meaning lower muscles like pelvic floor, lower abs, obliques, all the things that we were talking about yesterday, moving down. And I just want you to focus on that for a second and say, I am he who comforted.
I am he who comforteth.
Okay, good. No, that's fine. But did you notice how as you went towards the end of the phrase, everything in the body went, bleh, and then we lost your tone in your siren, okay? So you guys, first we want to make sure that the anchor is consistent and moving. I am he who comforted. Yes, and use your actual speech. Use your, like, we want to understand the words, right? So you're just talking. I just want you to talk on pitch. I am he who comforted.
I am he who comforteth.
Ah, okay, good. Now, the anchor is working better for you. Now, let's approach some awareness around your sail, okay? So I want you to smell the brownies, and I want you to breathe into that joy between your ears, and I want you to stay in the joy between your ears while you lower your support just on an ah siren, and you're going to go, ah! Yes! Did you guys hear how much more consistent that was? Especially on the way down, Jill. You didn't collapse your opposition, and so you were able to make it back down without the froggy gravelly thing happening, okay? Okay, now you're gonna put the words on, but it's gonna be exactly the same siren that you just did. So instead of, ah, you're gonna do, I am he who comforted, and you're gonna stay really high between your ears and anchor down. Good. Now you're going to do that, and you're going to, with long vowels, you're going to like really draw out the vowels. I am he who, just longer vowels. Oh, wait. Anybody know why I stopped her?
I went out and not in.
Where?
I'm not sure.
Oh, you mean you exploded rather than imploded?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I felt.
So, yes, but what happened then, and it's a chicken and the egg kind of thing also, is that you weren't in your smell the brownies. And so you guys, when you're in your smell the brownies, you have so much space here. And so the body feels, oh, look at this. I got so much freedom and so much space. I don't need to push past anything. When you don't, and this is low, and this is low, now there's a feeling of cramped space. It's not something that you that's conscious, but the body goes, well, I don't have as much space. There's stuff in the way. So how am I going to get past this? I have to push. And then you push. And then what happens is you push and the body goes, oh, damn, there's way too much air coming out. Now I need to create a dam to control all of this. And you make it even more contracted and constricted, okay? So breathe into the space you want for the smell of the brownies and find your siren again. I no singing aloud, still sirening, not trying to make it pretty or anything like that. I want you to siren on the melody. So this is not actually a piece of my repertoire. I don't know the melody so much, but siren on the melody would be, oh, come all ye faithful, joyful, joyful. It might sound to you like I'm singing, but I'm just sirening through, okay? So siren through the pitches. Okay, let's do it again. I really want you to find I. So what are the pitches? The I is on the D flat. What's the
D sharp?
D sharp,
D sharp.
Second. And the
F
second
sharp.
I?
No,
F sharp.
F sharp.
Okay. I. So that's oppose. I. Try it.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
Yes,
I get it.
You're there. You're right there. Okay, good. You guys, I'm going super like this is the micro right here because you're right there, Jill. Okay, this did exactly what you asked it to do, but because this is going up, this wants to go up too. And this has got to go down. And this is very common, guys, when singers are first learning this, okay? So I want you to visualize like when you put a spring curtain rod in a window, and both sides have to go. You can't move one side. They both go. So turn it this way. This is your spring rod. This is the up part. This is the down part. They both have to go. I. Try it. Siren, afraid. Just siren into the space between your ears right now. Just that. Afraid. Yeah. So it's almost like I want you to visualize the bow on the string. And right now you start and put your bow on the string, and then you kind of do like this as you go along. So it's okay if there's no vibrato. It's okay if it feels straight tone. I don't care about that. All I care about is like the single flow through. Afraid!
Afraid!
Yes! Did you feel how free that was and how open that was? But you guys, that's not Jill's habit. Jill's habit is to go like this.
You bet.
So, right, yeah. So that implode into that space, if you can siren, guys, if she can siren, afraid! That's this, afraid! It's the same thing. So siren it first, and then do the melody.
So the siren, I'd go down on it?
You're not necessarily, I mean, you can, I just want you to go, afraid! Just siren.
Okay. Afraid!
But you're whacking it. So you guys, she's whacking it. She's going, ba-boo! And then she's pulling off. Keep going. It's gentle. No whacking, guys. So mind your ribs and mind your support. So one hand around your lat. Yep, under your brow line. Feel your back. And the other hand here. And I want you to hiss into your hand. That amount is all you need. Now siren into your hands. Afraid!
Afraid!
Yeah, keep your sail up.
Afraid!
Yes, into your hands. Free!
Afraid!
Good, now. Good. Stay high between your ears. Your body's forward. Yes.
Yeah, I start dropping.
Afraid! It's the same as afraid. It's the same thing. Into your hands. Okay, so I see you manipulating.
Oh, I lost it.
It's okay. I want you to connect to your top back molars. Okay? And on the I want you to feel your top back molars pulling up into your brain. And on the frayed, I want you to feel your top back molars pulling up above your head. Afraid! Can you try that?
Afraid!
Okay, now you're going to to do one last thing, okay? Because you guys, she's got her support working, she's got her sail working, but because this is new, her body doesn't completely trust it, and her jaw is going, I still think I need to control this a little bit. I'm not quite sure that I can trust what's going on here. And so we've got sail and we've got anchor, but we've got an old story going on. Again, mindset, guys, has to work in tandem with this, okay? So how would you do this if you could 100% trust your body was built to do this? You can trust the new tools you just got. How would you do this if you didn't need your jaw to help you prevent you from failing? Do it on the siren. Freed!
Freed!
Yes.
Freed!
Yes, consistency matters. Freed!
Freed!
Yes, don't drop this just because you're descending in pitch or holding a pitch, okay? These two things need to be, so that this can soften, okay? So, yeah, but you guys, there's a difference between dumb jaw and dumb face. Dumb jaw is this. Dumb face is this. We don't want that. That's where your body tends to want to go. And that's common at the beginning when you're learning this. It's about activity here and passivity here. Let your jaw go. It's clueless jaw. It's, oh my God, share as if, as this. Freed!
Freed!
Yes, Jill. What did you notice about that? Is there a shape, an image, a sensation?
Yeah. I mean, it's honestly, you guys, if you picture your molars on top of your head, it really works.
Okay, so let's do
and
that.
I keep my tongue at my lower teeth.
Right, that's where it always,
Because that
right.
holds it.
But just making sure that when tongue and jaw are soft, this is active.
Right.
We don't want it to be, because then we don't have the sail. The minute that happens, sail pulls down. Okay? Okay. Thank you, Jill. I know we have a guest with us. I want to get to one other because I know Annie's chomping at the bit here. Well, I wonder, Annie, is there anything else that you want to give Jill?
I mean, way to go, Jill. Way to go being so coachable. Arden, she poked you. She kept
Yeah.
poking you, and you did such a good job hanging in there. I
Thank
think you
you.
did a really fantastic job. And I think, the cherry on top of it is you've got your anchor going, you've got your sail going. You can enjoy bringing the sound into your body. And
You want
that's
to
going
try
to be
that
the
for a
cherry on
second?
top for you. Yeah,
Try it
give
for
it
a
a go.
second. What could it be like to drink it in and luxuriate in that sensation and
Right.
instead of needing to get the outcome of the sound out? Try it.
Right.
What could
Why
that be?
don't you pair your hand with yourself and as you say, afraid, bring it into you, reel it into you.
With your hand, yeah.
Do you want me to do that?
Yeah.
I am he that comforteth. Be not afraid. Be
Okay,
not
hold on. Your hand really, it's there for you, but your mind is still somewhere else. And so your hand is still here instead of using your hand
Oh,
to really
Yeah.
be not afraid. Like use your hand to direct that energy. This is what we're talking about, energetic sound direction that's going to make the difference. So play with that. Exactly what Annie's saying. Use your hand.
be not afraid. Be not afraid.
Oh, wait, wait, wait. Same thing there. Same thing there. Same thing there. Oh, same thing. Do it. Yes. Did you notice the difference between when you were in this that was helping you direct the sound in and down?
It
All
does
of a
help.
sudden, that high note was way different.
So free.
So much better.
Thank you.
That's so much better.
Thank you
Okay.
so much.
So
All right, let me
thank
go.
you, Joe. So I was just checking in because we have a special guest with us, but I was checking in
Hi,
with her on
Amy.
time, and so she's a little flexible. So we can have another volunteer, who wants to play with opposition. So go ahead, use the raise hand function. Who else would like to play? Yeah, Maria, or is it Mariah? Mariah, go ahead and come on camera.
It's Mariah. Yeah. Hi.
Maya, hello. Okay, so this is where you get to take all the coaching from Jill and put it into your own body and see how you can play with it in your own body. So, a couple bars of something that you wanna mess with.
Yeah. I've been messing around with learning Everything Changes from Waitress.
Ah, so good.
I don't know what kind of shape it's in, but
No, that's okay. One of our singers was in the original cast, Nyla Watson. She played the best friend. Yeah, it's cool.
yeah. Um, let me. It it doesn't matter. Sorry, let me try again.
Okay, no, that's okay. When your body is telling you and your brain is telling you that you need to have a reset, don't ignore that, guys.
Yep.
Don't ignore it, okay? So let's do a siren. Ah, just a chest voice siren.
Ah.
Good, that was good opposition. So it's just give your body a moment to like find what's embodied, and then we can go.
Yeah. It doesn't matter now you're here, so innocent. I was lost for you to find.
Okay, hold on. I gotta stop you because here's what's so interesting about this, which is what I heard, what we all experienced when you sirened is not what's happening right
Yeah,
now.
I know.
Okay, so I'm gonna let Annie take this one
Yep.
because Annie's an amazing musical theater singer. She's a lot of context with Waitress and a lot of this stuff. So, and I just saw in the chat that Nyla's sister is in this. I would just mention Nyla off the cuff, and her sister is in this workshop right now. That's so crazy. Like, what are the odds? That's so nuts. Okay, take it, Annie. I go.
Okay, great. What is the text of the first line one more time?
Um, well, where I started was
Yeah. Yeah.
it doesn't matter now you're here, so innocent. I was lost for you to find.
Okay, yeah, let's just do like the first line and we'll get in there.
Yep.
Let's go for it.
Okay. Um, it doesn't it doesn't matter now you're
Okay,
here.
cool. Okay, so I want you to like let's do that siren one more time. Oh, good
Oh.
job moving your anchor and your sail away. Now let's do it specifically on the word matter.
Matter.
Uh-huh, and we're gonna do it in the first three words, and the first three words have become one word. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
See how it kind of became one long thing and one long stretch of your opposition, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now let's actually be on the melody, continuing to feel. I like Arden loves the spring rod. I love the resistance band. So it's like you've got a resistance band in your hand that you're pulling apart vertically. Let's use your hands. So
Okay.
you're gonna go on the melody. It doesn't matter. Go for it.
It
And
doesn't matter.
right. Is that the melody line?
No.
Yeah, let's do it on the melody. You're doing it right. Let's do it on the melody.
It doesn't matter now you're
Okay,
here.
so now that we've put it on the melody, body's going back to what it was doing before, right?
Mhm.
You're beautiful, like you have such great cheeks. You have a beautiful smile, and it collapsed down on you. So can you breathe into that brownie smell one more time? Find that feeling where your ears are pulling apart. Yeah, and it's almost like you got caffeine behind your eyeballs. Give me that delicious breath.
Okay.
Yeah. That. Yeah,
Yeah, you
exactly.
pretty much look
That's
like every singer in that picture when you just did that.
exactly. What does that feel like when you find
Well,
that internal?
it's kind of strange, but I think of a horse flaring its nostrils.
Okay.
Absolutely. First time I've heard that, but I totally understand it and it completely makes sense to me. So now let's take it, let's be around the pitch centers, but we don't have to specifically be on them. So we're talking on pitch in this really gooey, stretchy way. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Now you're here.
Okay, we got it about like
Pop in here for a
50% now.
second. Can I pop in here for
Yeah,
a
yeah,
second?
yeah,
Okay. So again, guys, mindset, right? Because Annie is giving you fantastic technique tools, Mariah, and I know you intellectually get it. I know you absolutely intellectually get what she's asking you to do. But in the moment, right here, right now, it's not showing up in the same way as it is in the siren. And so I want to ask you something. What is the meaning that your mind, what is the story your mind gives to siren? What is the meaning that you give to siren, or the story that your mind tells you about what's happening when you siren?
About sirening,
Yeah.
I've been told that it's the answer
No,
to everything.
I don't want to know what you've been told. I want to know, what is the story when you siren? What's the story about sirening? How do you feel about sirening? What does it mean to you when you siren?
So, like, that is where my brain goes when I think siren, because I've been told so much, siren, siren, you need to siren more. This will fix all the breaks and problems with all the different, you have so many different voices going on. You need to smooth that out, do more sirens. And then I nail the sirens and I can't transfer it to the singing.
Right. But the reason why
So that's
is
frustrating to me.
yes, it's so frustrating. And you guys, the reason why that this has been so frustrating for Mariah is that her mind is giving one meaning to siren and it's giving another meaning to sing. Which is, so why do you feel, if you had to guess, why do you feel like it's so easy for you to just do it on the siren? It just hooks in.
I feel like there's just less to think about.
Yes, but I'm going to just future pace this for you for a second.
Right.
There is absolutely less to think about because there's no attachment to an outcome, because you're not singing. And so you don't need to make it sound good or get it right or show what you can do. There's literally there's no pressure to deliver anything. And your brain reacts to that by not doing what you do when you sing, which I'm guessing if it feels like there's not a whole lot to think about when you siren, the converse of that is when you sing, you're probably all up in your brain reminding yourself, do this, do this, do this, do this, and you're micro-tracking and you're micromanaging. And all of that is actually sabotaging you because you're doing all of that because you're attached to the outcome of it needs to sound good, because if it doesn't, XYZ dominoes fall and I end up the old lady with my cats who never got her dream. Okay? Like, I'm being facetious, but that is where this goes. Okay? Versus when you think siren, you're not all up in the micromanaging because you're not attached to the outcome, because siren is just siren. I don't have to make it sound good. And without that pressure, you trust your body. You allow your body to do what it was built to do. And you guys, your body was built to do this. Your body was built to make resonant sound. Every single one of you. A baby can cry at the top of their lungs and never get tired. And it is the most present resonant sound. I remember when we were sleep training my daughter. Annie has a 1-year-old who I guarantee cries and cries, never gets tired, never gets hoarse. Why? Because his body was built to do that. And yet, as we grow up, we get in our own way and we sabotage Mother Nature's most effective production of sound. So when you are in just the siren, you're in trust of that sound, and that technique hooks in for you. The technique that is in your subconscious. You get it. I know you know it. And you trust it and you do it. So we have to, if we want the same result, then we have to give each context the same meaning. We can't make sing mean anything different than then siren. That's why it's not showing up, because right now sing means all those things. I got to get it right. I got to do it so I don't fail all the things, right? So this is where we go into no singing aloud. No singing aloud. You do better singing when you siren than what you think you do when you think sing. When you think sing, you go into all the old habits that take you further away from that and make you super frustrated. Okay? So, can we go back to the first? I even want to take this out of your normal repertoire. Can we just do like happy birthday? because again, she cares about this. This is a song she works on a lot. She's got a lot of attachments to doing it and doing it well. So let's take it out of that, okay? And I literally legit want you to just siren the melody of happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Again, just siren, no singing aloud. Go ahead.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Okay, hold on. First phrase was great. You were much more embodied. Then, as you started to go, you realized you should have breathed. You started to get back into your head. You left your body, and you have a tell, which a lot of singers do. The minute you leave the present moment of your body, your eyes go this way. And you leave. And I'm like, where'd she go? Right? So, do it again, and let's plan the breath. Happy birthday to you. Breathe. Happy birthday to you. Breathe. Happy birthday, dear whoever. Breathe. Okay? But that was great. What did that feel like to you in your body? What did you notice?
Normal. Not so much pressure, I suppose.
Right. Yes, but without that pressure, your body can actually do the things that you've been mulling around intellectually in terms of opposition. So don't worry about the opposition. Just siren. Happy birthday. Okay?
Happy birthday to you.
Good. Let's do it one more time. And I want you to, Annie, say what you want to say, because I know we're
Okay, well, there's one other piece that I would like to say as well. I would like to invite you not to listen to yourself at all.
Yeah.
I would invite you to like take a second. I love doing this. And shut your eyes and take your head and drop your brain like down to your belly button. And so your brain's focus is on just witnessing and observing, and you don't have ears anymore. Okay?
okay. So
Yeah.
let's do that. And you guys do it with her. I'm gonna do it. Close your eyes. Have an inhale.
Feel your feet against the floor.
And
And
find
then when
stillness.
you're ready,
Again?
when you're ready, no listening, just feeling.
Happy birthday to you. Happy
Luxurious breath.
birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear person. Happy birthday to you.
Yes! That was a way different experience of consistency and fullness of tone and embodiment of sound when you weren't doing it, you were letting it. And that's a huge distinction. What did it feel like on your side of things to just let it instead of do it? And again, you guys, that's the difference of what I was talking to Jill about. Implode instead of explode, right? So what was your experience of that?
It was interesting, just like I don't know what's going to happen next with my voice because I don't spend a lot of time singing happy birthday, so I just didn't have to think about it, I suppose.
You didn't
Like
have an expectation.
expectation?
Right. There was no expectation. There was no anticipation. You were in the present moment with your body and your sound. You weren't future tripping about what has to happen next. You weren't shaming yourself about, uh-oh, that didn't go the way I wanted. And look what happened when you came back to that. That was awesome.
I saw
Awesome.
a wonderful little moment too. You made yourself laugh. You had a naturally funny moment when you said, "Happy birthday, dear person." And you, for a second, were truly in your joy. And then your joy fueled the next line that you sang. And you were so present and with yourself and in the enjoyment of singing rather than the, oh, oh my God, all the things that I have to manage.
Mhm.
And then you
Yeah.
got a better outcome than when you manage.
Mhm.
And that, you guys, that takes conditioning of the mindset that I get better results when I let versus do, because we are constantly told we have to do, you know. But that never would have happened had Annie and I not coached Mariah on the confluence of skill set and mindset. And that's why this stuff works. So good, Mariah. Thank you for being a great guinea pig. Appreciate you. And thank you to Coach Annie for lending us some of her amazing mojo.
So welcome.
Yeah, the Annie coaches our singers in intensive program and in Vocality Lab, which is another one of our training programs. Okay, so now I would love to introduce a special guest who I have invited to come here. Before I get to that, I just want to make sure that you guys know what your homework is for tonight, okay? Which is to practice your opposition using your sirens, using the Mamo Moo exercise, the MP3 that you have from yesterday, to practice those with your new opposition tools of anchor and sail. And there's also in today's homework a thought exercise to prepare for tomorrow's session, which is understanding why you sing the way you do. So, like Mariah identified a big aha, which is that she's so busy wanting to do it, to get it right. But when she understands where that impetus to do and to do it right comes from, she will be much more able to make a different choice and create different meanings. So that's the thought exercise for tonight, is to help you understand why you sing the way you do. And also, again, a reminder, if you have attended our workshops before, and you may have done this before, you have more awareness now. Go deeper this time. Approach the technique exercises, the thought exercise with a new intention from the awareness that you have now. And if you're watching the replay, the homework link is in your Masterclass workbook for day 3. Okay, now let's meet our special guest. I have invited a very special singer to talk with you today here, who can really share better than anyone her experience of opening back up her voice, her confidence, and claiming the life that she wants from it. She is a multi-talented singer and actress who went from having professional performances that were very few and far between to, since she's been doing our method right now, you guys, she's in rehearsals for not one, but 2 professional shows. She's prepping Hunchback of Notre Dame, and she's prepping a role in Gypsy. And I invited her here to share her experience with you, the things that have really moved the needle for her the most in her skill set and her mindset, in hopes that you will gain a little nugget of gold that you can use to completely change the outcomes of your singing journey like she has in hers. So please welcome one of my favorite singers who I've had the pleasure to work with, Taylor Peters.
Oh,
Taylor, hi. Thank you so much for being here. You are a busy lady
I am.
rehearsing 2 shows at once. Oh my goodness. And you guys, I know I always say this, Taylor, but like, let me just tell you guys, like, the woman that you're meeting today bears like 0 resemblance to the woman that I met when she first came to work with us in the program. Like, Taylor, you are like eons, like, more in your full journey than you were at that time. So I would love if you would start by just sharing with everybody what was going on with your voice, what was going on with your journey before you worked, in our program, worked this method, and what was going on and how you were feeling.
Yeah. So I was, hi everybody. I had lived in Seattle for a couple years. I went to college up there and lived up there and was auditioning. And then I moved down to Los Angeles and was going to start doing that, unfortunately, in January of 2020, which, we all know how that went. But I had just gotten out of college, and I'm a person who really takes on other people's opinions and other people's feedback and input a lot. And it can be difficult when you're like that to take on lots of differing views. And that was what I kept getting. I was going to lots and lots of different coaches, and I was going to lots of different auditions, and my issue was that I was trying to guess what the auditioner, what the people on the other side of the table wanted, and there's no way you can do that. So the result was that I didn't make a commitment to anything. I was trying to sound like as many different voices as I could to show them that I was multifaceted, multi-talented. I could do any sound that they wanted, but I was so just uncertain in myself because I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing and who I was supposed to be as a person, as a performer, as a actor in the rehearsal room, as a singer, just all the different things. And it ended up just, I mean, I hear you've been talking about the implode versus explode thing, which was one of the biggest things that I learned with Arden. I was exploding like crazy. I was just tight and pushing and trying so hard to prove and beg and please, please, please give me something. Please tell me I'm good enough. And it just, I mean, even when I say that, my voice just goes, eh. It just clutches up because I just remember that whole physical feeling of just I was just desperately trying to figure out and crack a code of what what I felt like everything was a test and that I was doing it wrong. So that's really where I was at, and I had no sense of like self and what I was bringing to the table and what I had to offer and what my mindset was, what my values were. I was just trying to figure out what I was supposed to be doing to do it right and what everybody else wanted me to do.
Right. Like, who do I need to be? What do I need to look like? What do I need to sound like so that you will tell me that I'm enough and put me in
Yeah.
this role or this show, right?
There's one answer, and it's my job to guess it. And if I guess it wrong, I'm not going to ever get cast. And that was my full mindset, which is, crazy to think about now, but that was totally my mindset.
Oh, and so when you would show up to these auditions, what was then happening? Like, you'd go in and, like, what would happen when you would sing?
I would feel very my when I get nervous, my mouth gets dry. So I would be stiff and squeezed. And I used to think when I was singing in high school choir, that was like, that was when I discovered I could sing. So it was all just positive, and I was young, and I was just like, oh, okay, I can do this. This is great. And I had this feeling that this was the image I had, was just liquid gold inside my throat. And that's what it felt like. And I just loved the feeling of it. Even, forget the sound of it. I just loved the feeling of it. And going into auditions with this, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to do mindset, just dried it all up and was really, really clutched. And then I was having to push through, trying to push the sound up through. And man, it just, I was disconnected from the character. I was disconnected from my own instrument. And I was, halfway trying to push the sound out and halfway watching them going, what do they want me to do? What am I supposed to do? Am I dressed right? Am I singing right? Am I doing it right? And of course, it was just stiff. And I mean, technique can take you, I had technique that I was employing, and it can, I wasn't totally embarrassing myself, but it was just not, I was not getting callbacks and I was not getting cast. And even though I was like, oh, I have good technique though. And it was like, yeah, but the mind voice is disconnected. It's just not there.
Mhm. And so what were some of your, because we talk a lot about, well, exactly like what I was just coaching Raya on, which is, you know, your body is following what your brain is telling it, whether you realize it or not. And so when we shift meaning, when we shift beliefs, all of a sudden we shift how we're able to access the techniques that we otherwise understand. We're able to access different parts of our body. So I'm curious if you could share with everybody, one or two or just a few of some of the big ahas and the big shifts that you have made since doing this work that have made it so that now you're in two shows and you're in a big city, you're in Chicago now, and you're doing all the things and you're not playing small anymore.
Yeah. I mean, a couple things that really helped change my mindset was taking the things that other people had said to me. And when I say other people, I mean both professional and educational people, like vocal coaches, voice teachers, acting teachers, all that stuff, and also family. That, that was also a huge piece for me, was just, it was just a lifetime of a certain kind of feedback. And when I took those and understood, okay, that's not one of my favorite things that you say, it's not good, it's not bad, it's both, it's neither.
It just is.
Yeah, it just is. And all of that feedback and all of the things that have been said and all of the, whether positive or negative, it doesn't have to define you. You get to take all of that and decide how you process it, decide whether it's useful to you or not. And if it's not, let it be that person's opinion and that person's feedback. And you can say, you know what? Thank you for trying whatever you were trying to do. Not useful to me. So I'm going to let it go. I mean, I would take every single iota of information that anybody said to me and just take it so personally. But when I started training here, it really got more into the arena of who am I? How am I going to set myself up? Not what people tell me. I need people to tell me I'm good enough, or people to tell me this is what I need to work on, or that's what I need to do, or that's how I need to walk into a room, or this is what the people on the other side of the table need.
Right.
I walk in as me, and I walk in with my set of values and my confidence and my knowledge and my assuredness of my love of singing and my skill and my talent and my joy of singing and of acting and of going in and just, I get to do this now. Hello, let's do it. Let's come together, you know?
Yeah. So different from the nerves making your mouth dry and whatever, right? But what, I mean, I know you've had so many shifts, so many wins, right? For you, what have been the most transformative aspects of this freedom that you now have?
In terms of like going into auditions?
And any of it could be how you feel when you actually sing, could be when you're in an audition, could be, I don't know, open ended.
All of it. I mean, I partially not even in singing, partially just in my own daily life. I just go through my own daily life with so much less stress and worry and what am I supposed to do? Who am I supposed to be? I can handle auditions better. And when I see auditions, I get excited about going to them instead of like, okay, I have to nail this. Oh my gosh, it's an audition. I have to do it, and it's the excitement and the joy is back. The feeling of singing, of that liquid gold that I had in my throat. That's absolutely back. And I mean, just the last several auditions I've done, some I got, some I didn't, just because that's the way the cookie crumbles. That's how it goes. That's show business. But I mean, I walked out of each and every one of them so happy and joyous and relieved, and like, I represented myself really, really well there, whether I get the audition or not, whether I get the call back or not, whether I get cast as a lead or cast as a supporting actor. They now know me as somebody who is good and who is castable.
Playing at that level.
Yeah.
Who's playing at that level. Like, and that's such a difference from when I first met you, where you weren't even putting yourself out there for auditions. You weren't even going.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I would see something and go, "Ooh, I really want that, but I'm not. If I go, I'm going to ruin my reputation with them. And if I go, I'm going to do it wrong, and they're going to see a girl who does everything wrong and who doesn't know and who hasn't cracked the code, And
Mm-hmm.
one of the biggest shifts is there's not a code. There's not any code that you have to crack. You just have to go in as your truest self and as your most confident self and
Right.
do.
And so I would love to share if you could, because so when we work in our intensive program, we do a lot of work on global beliefs. Global
Mhm.
beliefs. What do you know? Like you know, like you know. And sometimes you don't, but you have to choose that belief and cultivate it so that you do know, like you know, right? And so I would love if you would share with everybody here one or two, just a few of your global beliefs that have allowed you to, because it is ups and downs. That's what you guys are signing up for. You know what I mean? But what Taylor is showing you is that the ups, it goes like this, and then a little like this, and then like this, and then a little like that. And the ultimate trajectory is this. And so, what are some of the global beliefs that have allowed you to stand in yourself, your authenticity, like you were just talking about, to show up in such a different way?
I mean, one of them, you mentioned the this and then a little bit of this. Every time I hit a little bit of this before, I would just completely crash again.
Yeah.
And it trajectory and it would just be so down. But I mean, global beliefs, like I I mean, sounds like such a stupidly simple one. I am a good singer because I wouldn't believe that. I got to a point where I was questioning even that, and I was like, well, maybe I can't sing, even with all my training, even with my love of it. Maybe I was actually wrong, and just that simple walking through the set of doors of an audition, I always now have this thought of, I belong here. I'm good enough for that. Not good enough, but I belong here. I fit in here. I'm meant to be here, and I am talented enough and skilled enough to be in this room. And just that was my habit for so long, was to walk through those doors and go, oh crud.
Right.
Oh,
And then what does this do to your instrument? Literally, this is what was happening to Taylor. Literally, this.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that was part of the problem with trying to sing in the room then. I was going, I don't belong here. I'm sorry. I'm going to get this out and then I'll be out of your way. And that's how my audition would go. So, I mean, just the simple, like it, I always kind of laugh at myself when I think of it. But every time I walk through the door, I'm a good singer. That's why I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
I can
Yes.
play roles that I'm about to audition for because I'm a good singer and I'm a good performer. And
Right.
that's a huge shift.
But you guys, just to put some context around this, right? Like, this took a lot of reframing, relearning how to relate to herself in the moment of singing, right? Like, a lot of the psychology is, and I think, Taylor, you probably had done a lot of psychological work, your own, self-actualization stuff, whatever it is, therapy, or I don't know, and yet, despite all of that learning, nobody was showing you, and you had no idea how this was all showing up in the moment of singing. And so, having that awareness now, right? I mean, I know you've had so many different kinds of training in the past, right? And so for you, what was it about training this way that was so significantly different, and that was more aligned in getting these results for you?
Yeah. It was the mind voice connection, because I'd done, like you said, I'd done a lot of psychology stuff, a lot of mindset coaching. I'd tried Reiki, I'd tried, all sorts of stuff to kind of get my mind in a place where it wasn't sabotaging my voice. And the difference of this, I mean, and I'd have lots of voice teachers who were really well intentioned, who said, you just have to be confident in yourself. Like,
How many of you guys have heard that? Like, just be confident, or just relax, and you're just like going like this because you're like, if I knew how to do that, I'd freaking do it.
yeah, thank you for the feedback. How? Give me some
Right.
how I do that. And that's exactly what I got out of this program. And you guys having Arden here, who has the mindset stuff and the vocal stuff and the combination of those two things, and the real world experience of it. I mean, that's what we're all looking for. We can go to mindset retreats, we can go to vocal coaches, but it's the connection of the two that it was a very, very fine chain link that was missing for me. And I mean, that's exactly what Arden and Annie and Judy and everybody in this program provide, that's the little teeny connection, but it's the one that matters. It's the one that really makes the difference and makes you go, okay, so this is what's going on in my mindset. Here's how it's affecting my voice. And you even surprise yourself with ways that it's affecting your voice. Like I remember I was making fists. I was, with my hands down at my side, but all of my tension was going into my fists because I just needed it to go somewhere. And I didn't even know that. And that was a new awareness that came through that was like, okay, so the tension's still there. So release it. And it was that connection that was really necessary as a performer, to say, okay, I'm doing the psychological work, I'm doing the vocal work, and here's what's not connecting where the two meet. And let's explore why it's not connecting. Oh, that's why it's not connecting. Okay, how can we now get it to connect? Because just knowing why it's not connecting is not going to be enough. Here's how we get it to connect. Okay, now here we go into the practice of that. Okay, I went into an audition and my nerves got the better of me and it disconnected. And you get to come back to class and go, okay, here's what happened, and go, okay, so then how do we get the connect, and it's that, like you were saying to me earlier this year, time in the saddle and experience, and you slowly cultivate that connection and cultivate that. And I saw someone in the comments too that said, what if you're not a good performer yet? Does that work if you're not a good performer yet? That is, I'm sure Arden would say this too, that is a belief that you have, and that's not true. You are a good performer. And that's just, it's a way of thinking that is not serving you. I mean, if you're going to go be a good performer, are you going to be a good performer by going into class and going, hi, I suck? No. So that was the change too in the mind. All the mindset stuff was just, it takes the time, and it feels like a lie at first. It really does. It feels like, oh, I'm just blowing smoke here. This is not true. I know I'm not a good performer. I know I can't hit the high note. I know I can't hold the note out, whatever it is. But that's just all that habit and all that years and years and years of conditioning. I mean, that's conditioning too. And it's just choosing a new form of conditioning, and choosing a form of conditioning that'll help you instead of one that will sabotage you.
Right.
So,
Well, and so we talk a lot about this, and you guys will hear me talk more about this later on in the week. But what Taylor is saying, I'm going to put it in a nice little bumper sticker for you guys right now, which is go to the data, not the drama.
yeah.
So the data may be you need some work on your high notes. The data may be that you haven't had a lot of time in the saddle. You may not have had a lot of practice or experience yet. But the data is not the problem. It's when the mind makes drama out of it and makes you bad, wrong, not good enough about it, that then we take into the body, that creates anxiety, that creates nerves, that creates the need to prove, push, or keep small, or all the things that then actually becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, and you then actually create more of the high notes that are problematic, the not being on top of your breath, than you would if we just looked at this as data. So one of the things I talk to Taylor about all the time is, when you go in an audition, what are 5 things you did well? What is one thing you want to optimize? One. Because all you guys want to go to, this didn't work, this wasn't right, this didn't happen, this didn't, you wanted 25 different things, and now you feel like you know what. And you're also not looking at the things that you did do well. And so if you're not doing that, you're not going to continue to do them because you don't know what they were, because you didn't identify them, right? And so again, it's data. It's just not making meaning, not creating a story, not creating drama that your monkey mind wants to, just to keep you safe. But guess what, guys? Keeping you safe also keeps you small. And if you want to stay there, great, that's up to you. You can do that. But if you want to go beyond that, then it requires reframes, looking at things differently so that your body responds differently and your voice responds differently. All of our awesome guinea pigs that you've seen, yesterday, today, Hannah and Mariah, and like they got the skill set piece, but when you really heard the sound change was when the mindset piece came online with the skill set piece. And that's what Taylor is talking about. So if you were talking to those everybody here in this awesome group who might be like, well, maybe this is an option for me. Maybe I should come train in this. And maybe, did you have hesitations or fears, or what would you say, to those who are like, well, I want this, but I don't know, because I don't know, because I know it was the same for you at the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my biggest fear, and again, I started saying this a minute ago, and it was the conditioning was that, oh, I'm going to come in here and discover that I really do suck. I'm going to come in here and discover, no, this is really not for me. No, this is, Arden's going to hate me and go, yeah, you're not really the right person for this. But I mean, to come into it and give yourself the time and give yourself, it is a lot of time that it takes, but you have a lifetime of conditioning that's holding you down right now. I had a lifetime of conditioning that was holding me down. And it is, you have to come into this kind of program and give yourself the time and the repetition. That was the thing for me about this, was that it was the time and the repetition. It was a really, really deep dive in. And you're going to get all of the tools to get through all of your stuff, to sort out your mindset stuff, to sort out all of the things that are not connecting, and get the reinforcement of the mindset switch. And that's, I mean, the mindset switch is really, like I said, it's the hardest thing to do, because when you're in all of that conditioning and that lifetime of conditioning, it really, really feels like a lie. It really feels like I'm just lying to myself. I'm just holding on to this dream because I've had it forever, and I'm not good enough. I'm not high note enough. I'm not low note enough. I'm not whatever. But that's a mindset that's been conditioned too. So you can keep with that mindset that's been conditioned for your whole life, or you can take the step and say, okay, you know what? There's this program that's going to be the first step of my new mindset conditioning. And I can either pick the old stuff that I know is not working because I know it's sabotaging me, I know it's keeping me weighed down, or I can pick this new thing. And once you lean into this conditioning and lean into this, like, new sets of beliefs that support you, beliefs that are uplifting to you instead of to you, it becomes your new reality. And you go, oh my God, I can breathe, and I can spread my arms out and sing. And it's just, I mean, if anyone's on the fence about it, I was nervous about so many aspects of it, but I am just so glad that I did it, because it took its time, and it took its time getting into my brain, getting through all of the ugly conditioning, and coming through and going, okay, but there's this true self in there that you can pull out, and that is bursting to get out. And that's why you're pushing. And that's why it's why you're trying to push through. And
But when you connect to that, as you have,
mm,
now you're in two shows at once, not even one. I mean, but it's true, you guys, when you connect to that, that is the difference between exceptional talent and exceptional success.
mm,
Taylor always had talent, but now she's starting to see success,
yeah,
because you guys, it's going from good to great. That's
mhm,
it. That is the bridge. And it is not far, but it's far if you don't know how to connect these things. So thank you so much, Taylor, for sharing your experience today. I know I could see a lot of people relating in the chat. And so I appreciate you taking your time from your busy schedule to share. So thank you. You guys give Taylor a nice round of applause in the chat. Thank you so much for being here with us. Now you guys see what's possible when you work this way, right? And you've already gotten so many ahas and results just even from these first 3 days. And so let me show you how I can help you to like bring this full circle. So you have some game-changing tools and new awarenesses now to go out and be a whole lot more successful on your own. And if you're comfortable with the trial and error of that and going through the process of embodying and implementing and figuring it out as you go with all these new tools and trying lots of different things until you get the result that you want, I want to encourage you to get out there as soon as possible with all of these tools. Or if you're the kind of person that likes to follow an exact blueprint, wants the A to Z roadmap, like Taylor was talking about, to maximize your impact, your potential, to have expert eyes and ears on you to tell you what to do, how to do it, make sure you're doing it right, that you're not falling into the potholes that you can't see, that's going to get you a predictable and repeatable result in your voice, then the program that Taylor was talking about, that's our intensive training program, then that's probably for you. And so the intensive, what it is it's an all-in-one holistic approach to your singing journey that addresses your technique, your mindset, your artistry, all together, so you know how to access the full potential of your voice and unleash that full power of your talent, so you do stand out from the competition, so you land these elite opportunities and keep them coming. And so through our time in the intensive, should you decide you do want to join us in that program, you're going to have a higher level of reliability and consistency in your technique that you can trust, that shows up for you no matter what. My motto here is anywhere, anyone, anytime, bring it. You want me to sing a high note doing a cartwheel? I can do that. Bring it. Like, because I know how to trust my body and that my technique and my mindset can deliver no matter what. So that's what we're teaching you how to do, where your body is working for you instead of against you, singing in a way that doesn't just sound good, but that feels good. And then you have freedom and you have stamina, and instead of strain, tension, fatigue, anxiety, right? And then you're getting, like Taylor, consistently better results from auditions, performances, recordings. So you're not like putting all this time and effort in and work and money and not seeing the kind of results that you want. And then you finally own your sound and tap into your authenticity, your confidence, your own unique voice. What you have that nobody else does. It's what Taylor was talking about. It's your special sauce that sets you apart from every other singer. And that's, which actually we're going to get into and we're going to be training on later on this week, so don't miss that. But can you imagine not being the bridesmaid anymore? Do you know what I mean? Like always feeling like you're putting yourself out there, you're going for it, you're doing it, and you're right there, and then you're like always the bridesmaid, but you're never the bride. So no more of that like longing, that frustration, anxiety, even sadness of watching somebody else up there on stage getting the big opportunity that you want while you're still stuck at the same level that you've been at for ages. And so instead, imagine that it's your curtain call. Like seriously, guys, can you imagine walking into a stage door and seeing your name on the dressing room door? Like visualize that. Can you imagine walking into the grocery store and hearing your song playing on the radio? That has happened to me, guys. I kid you not. It is the coolest thing. Some of you know this story. I was in the Ralph's grocery store on La Brea in Los Angeles. This was like 15 years ago. And I'm pushing my cart, and all of a sudden my song comes on the radio in the grocery store. I took out my phone, my little flip phone at the time, and I called my mom because we couldn't even record at the time on the phone. And I called my mom and I'm like, listen. Okay? These are the things. Like imagine walking onto the biggest stage of your life and looking out into the crowd and thinking, I did this. I did this. But let's think about what it's really costing you guys. Really. Like let's get real. What is it really costing you not to own the big life that you want with your talent and be able to do the thing that would get you there right now? It's costing you time. That is the number one non-renewable resource we are all given. How much time have you lost on this hamster wheel that so many of you have been on? 2 steps forward, 2 steps back, not getting enough breakthroughs to where you want to be, settling. Do you want to lose another year? Another 5 years, God forbid another 10 years doing the same things and getting the same results that are keeping you stuck? And then all of a sudden, it's 20 years down the line, 40 years down the line, you're at the end of your life and you're looking back with sadness, with regret, wondering, what if? What if? Who would I have been? What could I have done if I had really fought for my gifts in a different way? So what is it really costing you not to own your voice? I am legit asking you guys. Like this is the part where we start to get real and we get real honest. Again, this is the safe space. Type it into the chat. What is it really costing you not to own your voice? Air it out. Get it out there. It's been festering in here. Get it out there in front of a group of trusted fellows. Yes, this is about your singing, but no, it's not, you guys. This is about what it's costing you to have a gift and constantly feel like you're hitting a ceiling when all you want to do is live it to its fullest potential. What is it really costing you to have to continue to accept a B+ career when you know you have an A+ talent? What is it really costing you not to own your voice? It's costing me my confidence, discouragement, keeping me from my purpose, costing me through disappointment. You guys, we have almost 50 people who are still here. If you are still here, it's because you care. Put it in the chat. That's what we're doing here, guys. Nobody ever took big steps for big change if they weren't clear as to the consequences of staying where they are. What is it costing you to continue to play small? What is it costing you to continue to settle? What is it costing you to know that you have a gift and you have a talent, and yet you're not doing what God put you on this planet to do because of all the stuff that's been getting in your way? Yeah. Right, I see Barbara. She's not sharing her joy. How does that affect a person over years and years? So that's what we're doing here, guys. Teaching you the skill set, the heart set, the mindset needed to go from exceptional talent to exceptional success. And in turn, giving you the ability to fully step into the gift that you were given and do what you were put here to do. So to do that, there's really 4 key pillars that are included in 16 weeks of intensive training. So the first pillar is the technique accelerator, where we make sure that there are no gaps in your technique and rapidly help you to nail down technical mastery. So Technique Accelerator is comprised of 2 essential elements, and we trained on the beginnings of them yesterday and today. It's breath support and resonance. And we're going to deep dive into both of these, where we're teaching you game-changing high-level technique that ensures consistency, reliability, quickly eliminates tension, strain, bad habits. It is the bedrock of your ability to tap into that fullest potential, that fullest authenticity, and deliver that when it counts every single time, no matter what, with full confidence and full impact, there's that word, so that you can go out there and start hitting your career goals, hitting those more elite, higher paying career opportunities. Second pillar is unleashing your unique artistry. So most vocal coaches, they only teach technique, which is why their singers are not out there making waves, getting opportunities, getting hired. And so we're going to take you through a really powerful process, like what Taylor was talking about, to immediately tap you into your unique energy, your unique sound, and show you how to unleash that for maximum impact in performance. So you're the one they remember. You're the one they want to hire. You're the one whose records they want to listen to over and over and over again. Because you know how to unleash that is what you have that nobody else does. And then the third pillar, as we've been talking about so much, is your mindset. It's a blueprint for mastering your mindset. And again, this is another piece that traditional training does wrong. Or not even wrong, you guys. They don't do it at all. And that's mindset. Most vocal coaches, they train you from the neck down, and they leave out the one part of your body that can and will sabotage everything else if it's not trained, and that's your mind. Because what did we learn on the very first day? Your body cannot do what your brain is sabotaging. You cannot do either of the first 2 pieces of this, build technical mastery, unleash your unique artistry, if you're being sabotaged by what's going on in your head, both on stage and off, that you don't even realize. And so in this blueprint, we teach you advanced professional mindset strategies so you will perform to your potential 100% of the time, because we have taught you how to get out of your own way. And then finally, the last piece is all about support, world-class support. Because I get how passionate you guys are and how much you guys care, and you have this goal, this dream. And I get that if you could have fixed these things on your own by now, you would have. And so this is honestly where most training programs drop the ball. Either they just hand you a bunch of information and they leave you on your own to figure out how to do it, or if they do give you support, it's minimal, and you waste a lot of time between lessons, number 1, not having anybody to check in with to make sure that what you're practicing is actually correct, or are you just practicing in more of the old bad habits and continuing to reinforce those without realizing it? And number 2, there's nobody mirroring back to you all the ways that you're getting in your own way that you don't even see. And so we're the opposite of that. We're with you every step of the way, making sure that you are implementing these strategies correctly and in a timely manner. And so we're building your transformation right alongside you. And so here's how we deliver that. You get weekly technique training modules, weekly mind-body integration modules, individual weekly coaching in our group studio classes twice a week, weekly group mindset call, one-on-one accountability mentoring with your own dedicated mindset coach to really help you get under the hood and understand the thinking going on behind the singing. You get a community and a safe space, this is like the best part that singers always tell me, like, God, the support in the community, a place where you get to go beyond your comfort zone in a compassionate, supportive community. It's like an artistic incubator to be among like-minded singers and artists where you can learn, you can take action, you can grow to achieve these goals and targets that you have. So the usual tuition for our program is $9K, but I'm giving you guys huge bonuses for those of you who would like to come work in the program during this workshop. So first, I'm taking you $2,000 discount off the tuition from now until the end of the week, until Sunday, as a bonus discount for everyone here in this workshop. So it's just $7K until the end of the night on Sunday. So that's the first big bonus, a huge tuition discount. Then we also have 3 more bonuses, which I love to include because I think they're super fun and important. Any of you who enroll in the program by the end of this week, by Sunday, will get a critique of one of your audition self-tapes. So if you're especially a musical theater singer, opera singer, and you have to do a lot of self-tapes, like, we want to make sure that we are putting best foot forward, and there's a lot of best practices, and so we want to make sure that you're embodying all the things in the self-tape that are going to make sure that you stand out in those auditions on a self-tape. So first bonus is a critique of one of your audition self-tapes. Second bonus is a full audit of your artist website, or EPK. So if you are a recording artist or any other kind of artist who has a website, an EPK, a landing page, we want to make sure that also that you're presenting yourself in a way that is the most aligned, the most authentic, that speaks to who you are, and that puts your best foot forward with whatever is on there. And the other bonus is the first 3 singers who opt for our pay in full will get 2 bonus private one-on-one coaching sessions with me that they can use anytime in their program. So you coach with me one-on-one in the context of the group every week, 3 times a week. So you're getting that no matter what, just like we're doing here, one-on-one in the context of a group. But for the first 3 singers who opt for the pay in full, 2 one-on-ones, like on your own with me. So I want to go over, we have really flexible payment options. We have payment plans, we have financing. I'm going to share my screen just so you guys can see what those are. And Ashley, my assistant, is going to put the link in the chat to where you can get all the information about the intensive, look at the different options for payment and whatnot. Flexible 4 monthly payments of $18.97. If you want to save a bunch of money on the pay in full, you could do $7K, which saves you nearly $600 over the monthly. Or we have third-party financing via PayPal, where depending on the rate and the term that you qualify for, it could be as low as $340 a month. I mean, some of you spend more than $340 a month eating out over the course of 4 weeks. So, yeah, thinking about cost versus invest, right? So Ash, go ahead and pop that into the chat. What the link where everybody can find information. I see she did that. Thank you. All right, making sure I can wait. I stopped screen sharing, but now for some reason I don't see you guys. Okay, there you are. So if you know you want in, you can use the link that we just put in the chat to start your enrollment. You can pick your start date. So you can literally be in class with us like tomorrow if you wanted to be. By pick your start date, I mean, like, it's not that we all start at the same time and our next, class starts in April. It's not like that. It's rolling. So you can pick your start date. If you have some questions and you'd like to book a short discovery call with me to talk it out and find out if the intensive program is really a good fit for you, for your training, if it's going to meet your specific goals, your specific singing needs, then please book a short call with me. Again, this is not a coaching call. This is just a short discovery call to see if what I've gone over here is going to be a good fit for you, the right fit for you to move forward and meet your goals. So you can just hop on a quick call with me so I can answer any lingering questions that you might have. Ash just put into the chat the link to book a discovery call with me. So tomorrow, do not miss tomorrow. Oh, I just saw Barbara's question. So we keep the group nice and small. We never have more than about 10 to 12 singers in the program at any time because it's a lot of individual attention. So good question, good question. We keep it nice and small. And by the way, as we go out through the rest of the week, if you're interested, if you come up against any questions that you have about the program, we can answer those as well. But the best thing to do is just to book a little discovery call with me. They're 15 minutes. I can answer any questions that you have to make sure it's the right fit for you. Okay, so tomorrow, do not miss it. Do not. We're going to be integrating all of these tools from the last 3 days to go from process to performance. So we've been in a lot of process. Now, how do we put this all together to go from process to performance? And so I'm going to show you how to fast track that by showing you how to get out of your own way and bring it like you never have before. Like, that's what's really necessary for the kind of impact that it takes to make it at that elite level. So reminder, do your homework tonight. Use the sirens, use the Mamamoo MP3 from yesterday to practice sirening through your scale, to practice embodying your opposition. Do the next thought exercise for tomorrow. It will prepare you and give you insights so that you're ready for the work that we're going to do tomorrow. If you want to learn more details about the intensive or you want to enroll, Ash is going to put that link again in the chat to learn more and enroll. Again, questions, book a call with me. If training with us is where you need to be, get in before the $2,000 workshop discount expires on Sunday night. I'm just going to see if anybody else happened to ask something. Okay, Eddie, just get on a discovery call with me. If the training program feels really aligned for you, you really want in, this feels right, get on a call with me and we'll just talk it out and make sure that it really is. Okay, I'm just backing up in the chat to make sure that I didn't miss any questions. Okay, cool. So you guys have everything for your homework? Thank you for showing up and giving your energy and being supportive to your fellows here today. Thank you to Coach Annie. Thank you to Taylor. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye, guys.